Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A good day to all our listeners, teachers, parents, and all those involved in the field of education. I welcome you all to SIA Schools, the Department of Teachers Training. Today we are going to look at something very important, something that all school owners or all school managers or all school policy makers need to really know much about. Now you may have a school, or you may be a school manager or a school policy maker or someone who works in a school. Now, how do you know whether your school is doing well or not? That's what we're going to look at. If I'm a school manager or a school owner, how do I know whether my school is on the right track or not? What does this mean? This will really save you a lot of things, knowing this. To really save you wasting money, wasting energy, and wasting time. And it will save you also losing, a lot of things. Because if your practices are the right ones, then that will automatically mean that you are growing. But if your practices are the wrong ones, the outcome will be the wrong one, and that will definitely bring you down. So we are today going to look at key performance indicators of standard schools, the things that determine whether the school is moving in the right direction or not. And if you follow me, you'll come to know much about this. This is going to be our first episode for school KPIs. Inshallah, we're going to take them one after another till we reach the last one. Now one may ask, what do we mean by KPIs of a standard school? The K stands for key, the P stands for performance, and the I stands for indicator. KPIs mean key performance indicators. Now this is a type of performance measurement that you can use that can help you understand whether your class is moving well, or your department is performing well, or the school entirely is performing well. Although we are going to stick to the level of the school entirely, we're not going to stick to a particular classroom performance or departmental performance. No, we're going to look at school performance entirely. So now, what are these key performance indicators? At SIA Teachers Training School, we have 8 indicators of the Sunday school. We have 8 things where if you have all of them at the right level in your school, we consider your school as a standard one. Now these 8 keys were keys that were brought together from professional, commendations, let me call it that way, from experts in education from across countries that are doing well, in our globe. Well, let me list the 8 of them. Number 1 is a policy document. I'll come to explain that. A document that guides the do's and don'ts of a school. You'll hear more from me on this. And then number 2 is standard and age-appropriate curriculum. A standard and age-appropriate curriculum. We'll come to know more about that. Number 3, competent teachers. We know that they are the front players. If they are not good, children will not get anything. If they are really good, children will get a lot. So who is a competent teacher? That's something that we'll come to know with time. And then number 4, we have good leadership. Good leadership to a certain extent also determines how good a school will perform. And then another thing is supervision, strategically planned supervision. Are we really supervising the right thing? Are we really ensuring that all the necessary things that are most required are being supervised and ensured? That's another thing. And then number 6 is student performance. Are you running a school where every child is progressing? or you are running a school where those who are front players are being celebrated while others are being, dampened. Yeah. And then number 7, school self-evaluation. What techniques do you use in evaluating your performance, and how frequent or how often do you assess yourself? And then number 8, which is the last one, school development planning and implementation. If you assess yourself, how do you address the fractures that you've identified from your assessment? That's another thing. And how important do you take the fractures, and how do you design, overcoming the fractures? So these are the 8 key performance indicators of a standard school, and we're going to look at them one after another. Come with me, we'll take the first one for today. The first one is school policy. Do you have a policy in your school? What guides all the procedures of your school? Now, the school policy is more or less a content that defines everything in the school. What should a policy have? What should a school policy document have? Number 1, it should have a job description and specification in it, which means the work of every person in the school should be defined, staff in general. If you have a teacher, what are the roles or responsibilities of that teacher? If you have a head, what are the roles and responsibilities of that head? And then you have to specify who is supervising who and who is reporting to who, so that everything will be channeled appropriately and there will be no overlapping or no clashes along the way. So now, having a job description and specification is the first fundamental thing that should be found in a school policy document. And number 2, an organogram. A sketch of the organogram should be there, indicating which office supervises which and which office reports to which. That should be specified in the policy. And some of that is very important. That should perhaps come before the job description. And even the organogram is your vision and mission and the goals of the school as well. Your vision should be clearly defined, because your vision determines a lot of things. It determines what the policy itself will look like. It also determines what your curriculum will also look like. So your vision should be clearly spelled, and your mission should be clearly also spelled out, and the goals should be spelled out clearly for everybody to see. Now, besides these, you should have staffing policy. What kind of qualifications and experience do you need for teachers who are planning to teach in the preschool section? Which kind of qualifications and experience do you need for someone who is planning to teach in the lower primary or the upper primary or the secondary school, be it year 7 to 9 or year 10 to 12? You need to specify that. You need the level of experience, the kind of qualification. In some places they will tell you that we need someone who has a degree, a master's degree, and a teacher's training school qualification. In some places they'll tell you to just come with a PGDE, postgraduate diploma in education. In some schools they'll tell you that whoever is going to teach in the preschool should have a minimum of a degree or a minimum of an NCE in our part of the world. So the policy on staffing should be defined. And then the policy on enrollment of students or pupils should also be defined. The age that is required for each class, and then the criteria for selection, be it entrance exam or any other criteria that is required. These things should be defined explicitly. Now, another thing is financial policy. If you come with so years of experience and so certification, where should it be placed? And all sorts of allowances should be defined in the policy. And safety policy should also be there. Leave policy should also be there. And anything that will make the system function smoothly should be identified. Now, a policy document, if implemented well, determines to a good extent how functional the system will be. Because if everything is defined well, everything will be automated. Whereas if there are things that are yet to be defined, fringes and frictions will be there. And without addressing those things, definitely they will affect performance in a way. The policy document also determines continuation. If you have a policy document, nothing will change as a result of change of staff. Because whoever comes, the person will meet a policy document. And the document will explain everything to that person to a level where a new staff can assume, the same experience as an old one. I mean, you can easily get enough experience as those who have been there through the policy document. So I'm sure with these little explanations that I've given, you'll come to agree with me that a policy document is a necessity in every school, as it determines how everybody will function in the school and how the school will perform at large. I thank you very much for being with me for now. We're going to meet in the next episode. We're going to look at the second key performance indicator, which is a standard and age appropriate curriculum. Join me in the next episode and you'll hear more on that. Thank you.